And from Malaysia, we now go to the Philippines. Our next speaker, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, is finished his PhD in Kyushu Tokai University in Japan, with whose major field is animal nutrition. Currently, he is a member of the editorial board of the Swine Nutrition and Livestock Housing and Environment of the Asian Journal of Animal Science. Ladies and gentlemen, to present the Philippine situation, I'd like to call on my countryman, Dr. Antonio J. Barroga.
Thank you. At the outset, I would like to extend my thanks, appreciation for the organizers for this kind invitation to present a paper on what is happening in the Philippine industry, particularly the Philippine swine industry. So there are a lot of changes going on there. That's why the title of my presentation is "The Dynamic Philippine Swine Industry, Key to Meeting Challenges and Technological Innovations." Well, let's have a brief background on the Philippine geography. We are an island consisting of 7,107, or an archipelago rather. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago. We are second to Indonesia. We have three major islands, Luzon, Visayas, with Mindanao as the largest island. Well, hog production is our number 2 earner in the country, next to rice production. Well, hopefully we can become number 1 in the recent conversion of rice lands into commercial lands. But food production, particularly rice, will still be a priority, nevertheless. We have around 11.88 million heads of, in 2013, the backyard farming are gradually diminishing, with the commercial farms having 42.3 million population, and that's around 36%. A decade ago, it was 75-25 ratio. We have this inventory by farm type. In terms of backyard, as I mentioned a while ago, we have a reducing backyard population against an increasing commercial pig population in the country. In 2013, we also produced around 956.25 thousand metric tons live weight, and we are having a very good price in farm gate price in the Philippines. So in fact, as of latest, our farm gate price is already around 200 pesos, and at an exchange rate of 43 pesos to the US dollar, that would be around 4.46 US dollars per kilogram of retail pork, with 2.26 US dollars as the cost of production per kilogram. So a farmer nowadays can earn up to 2,000 pesos in a marketable pig of 95 kilograms. So we are enjoying an increase in swine production, particularly in the volume of products. Well, this could be due to the fact that 3 years ago we were already certified FMD-free by OIE. And these are the average prices by market level. For the farm gate, we have 10.37% increase from 2012 to 2013. Wholesale price would be up to 70%, and the retail price would be around 5%. So the distribution of inventory by classification in the Philippines as of July 1, 2013, is we would be having around 30.88% of the total hog population classified as fatteners. And to demonstrate how dynamic the hog industry is in the country, in early 2000, we have the Central Luzon area as the #1 backyard farming area in the country. But now, after 10 years, we have now Western Visayas as #1. Also, by region, in terms of the commercial sector, before, we have still Central Luzon and the Calabarzon maintaining their status as the #1 commercial producing area in the country. And in terms of both the backyard and commercial population, we have still the Central Luzon area and the Calabarzon area maintaining their lead role in terms of hog population both in the backyard and the commercial sector. So in terms of supply disposition, particularly the number of live animals, we are also getting a modest stable figure. We haven't reached yet the 3 to 5% target. Well, we have a very active swine association in the Philippines who are monitoring the records, performance records in the farm. This was first established by the government and later on was managed by the private commercial farms, with the government still serving and giving advice in the background. So we have volunteer farms here. We have the good performing farm, the bad performing farm, and the excellent farms or the modern pig farms scattered through the 3 islands in the country, having as members. So they are willing to subject themselves on free training by their staff, by the group, on basic record keeping. So that's the reason why the figures that would come up here would serve as our industry figures for our country. So one good thing about this swine reproductive performance monitoring record is that this will serve as a basis for the academy and consultants in the piggery farm to make way for improving what particular breeding techniques or growth performance that are to be improved. Say, for instance, when we come up with records showing, say, an almost 10-year data, we will identify what particular performance would the industry be on the lower level, and that is where we try to come up with strategies to improve these important reproductive parameters. So, for instance, in this case, the hog industry has still a lot of catching up in terms of farrow rate, which would be only around 77.56%, while our European counterpart would be having a figure of around 89 to 90% already. So from here, we will try to trace the reasons for such a very low farrowing rate. And once we have identified the factors that need immediate resolutions, then we do the recommendation. So for instance, if we have low farrowing rate in the farm, most likely you have to concentrate on the environment, the feeding, as well as the breeds. And here, there will be housing, season, temperature, and mycotoxins, given the parity level of the sow as major contributory factor. So with that, we recommend the proper timing of breeding of the animals so that we will be able to improve farrowing rate. Then we have to improve the housing. It's good to inform the group that our banks are having good turnouts in terms of extending credit facilities to farms who would like to improve their housing facilities. So we are having a very good number of tunnel ventilation houses being established in the Philippines already. And that is a good indication that we are now heading for an increase in farming rate in the future. In fact, a lot of farms have been already achieving this. Now, through the monitoring record that we have, we were able to establish also what we call the third quarter syndrome, wherein the data taken for the last 10 years, we observed that those animals that were bred during May, which is a very hot season in the country, would have very low farrowing rate and very low litter size and high mortality rate during September. So that's a very conclusive data that we got for the last 10 years or more than 10 years. So with here we have to adjust our breeding management in such a way that the animals will not farrow during September, so they will be spared from low litter size and low fertility rate. Then of course, a reason why we have recycles in farms, in breeding farms, particularly long recycles, is because of unnecessary movements of newly bred sows. Usually when sows are inseminated, they have to be moved from the stalls to the breeding house, or from the breeding pen to the gestating stalls, and this would create a lot of recycle incidents. So again, as we review all this swine reproductive performance, we come up with recommendations also, for instance, for farrowing index, and we educate them regarding cost benefit for a very low farrowing index. So in the Philippines, for instance, we have a farrowing index of only around 2.18. So we determine the cost, the economic benefit. If you are to improve your farrowing index from 1.86 to 2. So this would give you a difference of 0.14, and if you are at 20 sow level, this 0.04 difference would result in a foregun piglet of around 8. If the litter size is 8, your foregun piglet is 22.4 against 2.8. So that means these 2.8 foregun piglets, because it's a 20 sow level, will be equivalent to 22.4 piglets. So if you have 2,500 as the cost of your piglet, then you are losing 56,000 pesos. Just a mere 0.14 difference in farm rate for a 20 sow level farm. So what if you have 200 sow level, 2,000 sow level? So that would be a big amount of money. So with that, the breeders would be very aware now on how to reduce or how to increase farrowing index. So we know that the causes of low farrowing index would be, you have low weaning to estrus interval, you have poor body condition at mating, then you have improper timing of mating, resulting to high incidence of recycle. So from there you can directly troubleshoot the farms. You have to cull sows that are old, because usually sows that are very old, you have a long weaning to estrus interval. So you could just imagine in the farm we are even getting information where dry sows are maintained in the farm or old sows are maintained in the farm with a very long weaning to estrus interval. So with that, a certain plotting of the ideal number of percentage of sows at any given time to be maintained, the population would be observed here. So if you want to have good genetic material in your herd, then we recommend that at any given point of time, the sow population of a commercial breeding farm is that there should be around 47% of the total sow population which will be on the third, fourth, and fifth parity. Because the third, fourth, and fifth parity is the most productive parity of the sow. When we say most productive parity, they are having good birth weight, good litter size at weaning, good lactation performance, and others. So if you are a 1,000 sow level, then you will have 470% at any given time to be maintained in the population that will have your sows on their third, fourth, and fifth parity. So if you will ask me how to maintain this, then you have to maintain a culling rate of around 35% every year. So another important development in the country is the establishment of swine associations in the Philippines. We don't have enough grandparent farms than that of Vietnam. We have only around 35 accredited breeder farms in the country. And anyway, these breeding farms are well organized. They are now undergoing a plan for animal genomic research, or swine genomic research, and we are now exchanging breeders with the member breeder farms so that we will be able to select the best genetic material for the Philippines. So in this accreditation program, to which yours truly was a member from 2003 to 2013, we make sure that the genetic quality of the breeder farms are ensured. How? We are to evaluate their farm every 2 years, and we make it a point that the weight of the animals that are supposedly the weight of a genetically upgraded animal should be conformed with. So this is one way of ensuring quality control, aside from the expected reproductive performance that will be inherent to a genetic, or to a great-grandparent material or a grandparent material. Well, we have a very active organic agriculture pig farming now in the country. It's being funded by our Department of Agrarian Reform. Some are also funded by our Department of Agriculture, wherein the raisers are given soft loans or grants to improve pork production, as well as we make sure that these pigs are raised without the benefits of antibiotics. So we have identified potential plants or potential non-conventional feeds to make the cost of feeds cheap. And in Indonesia, I think they call this golong. I forgot already the term, but in the Philippines we call this the lechon. No? So lechon is very popular in the country, and we make sure that as much possible, those who are peddling or selling this lechon are mostly natives. So we have a market for this, and we are trying to find out if their cholesterol is really reduced, as well as their better tasting as compared to the commercially raised pigs. Now, again, another dynamism going on in the country is we would like to register our backyard farmers or enroll them into the carbon trading program. So we all know that under carbon trading, one carbon emission reduction is equivalent actually to 1 ton carbon dioxide. So the present carbon dioxide cap is 145,830 tons. So if 1 ton CO2 is valued at, this is the present trading value of CER, $4, then this could be an income for the backyard farming community. But to produce this carbon cap, you need a lot of investment here also. That's why the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework on the Conference on Climate Change, is planning to dialogue with lending institutions in the country also to finance carbon capture. So in this proposal, a farmer would be equipped with this facility that will be good for 6 fatteners. This is a biogas digester, good for 6 pigs, The slurry here will be good also every week, so you have to drain the slurry every week, and you have a continuous production of biogas here. So we have identified the volume of liters to maintain a 6 fattener population. From here, you will have to raise 175,000 pigs to establish or to have this target carbon cap, which is 145.83 kilotons carbon dioxide. Because a pig is producing 0.00083, 1 fattener pig for 1 year of carbon dioxide. So if you will multiply this with this, then you will have the carbon cap of 145.83 kilotons per year. So with that, we did some cost-benefit carbon trading for the average Filipino pig raiser. So you will be investing this much for that program, but you can generate a sales of around 26 million pesos of carbon credit. So these calculations for methane income for 33 sow level, for instance, could be converted into this number of LPG liters, or this is liquefied petroleum gas. So from here, if you have the 33 sow level in the farm, or if you have 6 fattener in the farms to be raised by a farmer, you have to distribute 29,166 units of this in the whole Philippine island to get the carbon cap. If you would like to get sample biogas models like this, we have already farmer operators who are using this already. So we need to increase this number of raisers more to qualify for the program. So as a brief computation for that, if a farmer will be raising 6 fatteners to be maintained in 1 year, then he will be saving this number of cylinder gas or liquefied petroleum gas. Instead of using this commercial LPG, he can just maintain the biogas in the farm. If it's a 33 sow level operation for the semi-commercial farm, then this number of LPG would be saved, and that's a good contribution to the environment. Well, in terms of solid waste management, we are also experiencing a lot of applicants for the CDM here. In fact, one private company has installed already around 85 covered in-ground aerobic reactors throughout the archipelago. And I don't know how many of these farms are enrolled in the carbon credit or in the CDM program. In terms of solid waste and environmental management, we are teaching the backyard as well as the commercial farms on maintaining odorless and flies-free swine farming. We have concoctions of microbes, also formulated by our Filipino scientists. They are a mixture of odor-erasing microbes, emulsifiers, nitrogen-fixing bacteria, probiotics, and they are added at an inclusion rate of 5 grams per square meter for the lagoon, for the propane, and even the septic tank. They are added there. So here is an example of an open lagoon wherein this was treated with odor-erasing microbes, and you can see the color is already green. The VOD for sure has been substantially reduced here. So here is the odor concoction and flies-free concoction. This is applied in a septic tank 6 by 4 by 10 feet at 200 grams per day for 7 consecutive days. And then there's a maintenance every week, every 2 weeks application to replenish the odor-erasing microbes. And the sludge there, by just adding here equal amount of bulky materials like like rice hull, mudcress, and other byproducts, then you can have now your organic fertilizer. So this is now the lagoon odorless slurry, with the odorless slurry being poured or drained in the lagoon, and this is coming from the septic tank here. So what are now the challenges of the Philippine swine industry? Well, at the moment, most of our processed pork are coming from Canada and the United States. Also, a sizable number is coming from France, Germany, Spain, Belgium, and the others. Well, in our desire to increase our pork production, there might be some changes in importation of pork from other countries, because for our processed meat, like the making of hot dog and others, we are using beef, buffalo meat, and poultry meat, not the live animals, of course, the processed pork. So with these cheaper alternatives, we might be stimulating or leapfrogging the hog industry, especially now that we are getting a good price in the market. So with that, I would like to thank the organizers again. And by the way, this is just one way also of expressing our gratitude to member countries who gave relief goods when we had our Yolanda Typhoon or Typhoon Haiyan in November 7, 2013 in the Philippines. Thank you for your generous assistance to my countrymen. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Antonio Barroga. We have time for one or two questions or any comments, please. Yes.
I'll ask another question. My only disagreement with you, when you're looking at a low farming rate problem, the number one cause is people.
Come again, sir?
When you're investigating the reason why the farming rate is low, the number one cause is people. It is not disease, it is not genetics, it is not facilities, it is people. 80% of the problems in breeding are due to people.
Yeah, that's the reason why in my report in the proceedings, we have administrative orders and regulations intact already in the country, ready for implementation, and some are already abiding by those regulations and administrative orders on the environment. And we are having a very good output in terms of the implementation, although it's gradually being implemented.
Okay, one last question. Yes, Dr. Japna.
I'm interested to hear about the organic initiative in Taiwan for organic products.
We have seen an increase in the number of organic product usage in the country during the last 5 years as compared during the last 10 years. And that only indicates a growing awareness of organic products in the Philippines right now.
Okay, so with that, we'd like to thank our speaker from the Philippines, Dr. Antonio Barroga, who spoke about dynamic Philippine swine industry, key to meeting challenges and technological innovations. Let's give a big hand to Dr. Barroga. Thank you very much.